This taking
the that anything in the middle here at sea level is roughly sea level.
Well,
right?
keep zooming in. You can keep zooming in until it's no longer a CGI overlay. It's actual maps.
But, okay, so but they're still calculating the distance.
But they're calculating the distance using a flat map. Now they 3D map.
Doesn't matter for this. We're going to test the claim.
Okay, sure. I got you. So it doesn't matter. So you got.
So this is the claim.
1100.
So the claim is that it's around 1,100.
Yeah. So that can't be right because it's. Oh yeah, that would be right. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, cause it's about 2,000, I guess, if you take the waterway the whole time.
Miles. So 717. So let's round it to 700 miles. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Just to make the math easy. Okay. So we'll say that this is 700. 1 second here. So that's 700. How tall did you say the building was?
60 feet. That was Army Corps of Engineers presented at 60
feet.
Remember, it's a hypothetical building.
Yeah.
60 stories.
Oh, 60 stories. Yeah, 60 stories. Yeah, which I think it's like which is like 10 feet, so 600 feet, right? Like 10 feet per story.
It's a bad measurement because stories are 14 for commercial.
Yeah, I have to go the other way. Feet. I want to convert this so we can get a ratio.
Here, I'll be back in about 15 minutes, okay? Does that sound good? Do you think okay?
Yeah. Give me just a second here.
All right, I'll be back. Just wait. I mean, there's whatever you take, I'll also look at it too. Like I know this debate will keep going on, so.
I was about to end it right now, but I'll wait.
Okay, yeah, tap in, Jeremy, because I gotta go talk to somebody. Work related.
You can do to end it, Jeremy. The globe accurately represents every distance in America, Europe, China, Japan, Australia. Every distance between those places will match airline flights, and yet somehow, some way, you can't depict it on a whole picture of the Earth on a flat map. Can't be done.
Yeah, no.
Increasingly inaccurate toward the poles.
Nope, 100% accurate on the globe is 100% accurate. You take any two distances on there and you fly between them, you will get the distance that's specified by the little piece of string you're stretching over the surface of the globe.
The land distances are fine, Moyak. It's the sea distances
no, even
that
the sea
rub because it's impossible to get a straight line at sea.
Yes,
so you can just superimpose the fairly accurate land distances onto any sea map that you want, be it a globe and or flat.
If I
can verify those sea distances, Moyak, we have no idea which map is more accurate. So call me when you can get a straight line at sea.
I have had people who sail the ocean blue and go on.
Where can you travel a straight line at any distance on land?
On the sea, on the land, you're not being tossed to and from. So the land distances are going to be fairly.
However, there are mountains and valleys and things in the way, right?
So the sea distances are the rub. That's why flat or round, you have some inaccuracy at sea, especially toward the poles.
Yeah.
So you can get a straight line at sea.
Whatsoever. You're just making shit up.
That's just logic and reason. When you start thinking for yourself, think this through, the problem becomes clearly apparent.
Your thoughts on this.
So what you're telling me is that you can get a straight line at sea then? The answer is no, and you know it. So you just superimpose the land on any sort of sea map that you want.
Of course you can.
You get a rough idea of the rough layout and the rough shape, with some inaccuracy as you get toward the pole.
What's the level of inaccuracy?
To get a straight line at sea.
What's the level of inaccuracy?
Right. The level of inaccuracy, based on Antarctica being a 60,000 plus Antarctic ice ring, it gets pretty big toward the poles.
Especially at sea. What evidence is there of that?
The sailors' accounts. They say we're clocking way too much land below the equator.
Who says that?
The sailors' accounts in Robotham. In Robotham's book.
Right.
You mean the 14-mile error?
No. Hold on.
I don't really care about what's in Robotham's book.
it's funny though. I mean, I just had a friend.
We know so much of it is just bullshit. So who cares?
I just met a guy who's was crossing the Atlantic to Europe from the marina that my boat's stored in, and he was having all the work done in his boat there for it. But he's hopping on the boat, and he knows how long it's going to take him in a sailboat with top speed of 7 knots to get where he's going.
Right.
It's not a guesstimate. He knows how far it's going to be. He has to bring provisions so he can make it alive.
Fantasy that everyone sailing in the southern hemisphere is sailing greater distances than they think they are, and none of them have noticed it, but Lemon has, who's never sailed in the southern hemisphere.
Well, of course.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, it's all the big governments that have these little tiny sailboats that go for world records. It's all the government. Not like a guy in a 27-foot sailboat didn't do it.
Proof 39. Practical distance measurements taken from the Australian Handbook, Almanac, Shippers and Importers Directory state that the straight line distance between Sydney and Nelson is 1,550 statute miles. Their given difference in longitude is 22 degrees, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Therefore, if 22 degrees, 214 out of 360 is 1,550 miles, the entirety would measure 25,182 miles. This is not only larger than the ball Earth is said to be at the equator, but a whole 4,262 miles greater than it would be at Sydney's southern latitude on a globe of said proportions. They're getting too much land down there.
Right, well, we need to see the original sources for that.
Most of
why we would
is from Robotham.
I know, but he is quoting what was it you said at the beginning of that? He's quoting some other document or something, isn't he, that gives these distances. So we would need to see if that document actually gives those distances, because I bet it doesn't. But the other problem, of course, you face with that is that document is nearly 200 years old. So it's probably not going to be very easy to find. And I wonder why you're reliant upon 200-year-old evidence. I mean, it should bother you that this is all that you can come up with. And, you know, when people are making these journeys in the Southern Hemisphere every day, you would expect to have more than this that you could refer to, where people are saying, I sailed too far.
The truth doesn't change. And this is better than now because people rely on computers and stuff to do their navigation. Their practical skills have decreased. They wouldn't know if there was too much land down there one way or another. They just chart it in a computer and just sail away, as opposed to practically calculating it.
The truth changes if you lie. I wonder why you just believe Robotham on this. You haven't checked any of these facts in any way, have you?
This is more consistent with the flat reality that we see. NASA's lying. People are pressing curving lying lenses. It looks like they've been heavily deceived.
So you're describing a confirmation bias. You believe it because it suits you.
A confirmation bias toward the truth, yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying that,
as opposed to toward the lie.
You're saying that there's an 8-day discrepancy when you take a shipping container ship at 20 knots. That's an 8-day discrepancy.
The latitude should taper down to a southern pole below the equator.
They do.
So there should be increasingly less land as you go south, but they're still clocking more and more land. Like the land is expanding outward.
The land is separate from the latitude lines. They basically, you can have big land going across many latitude lines, or little land going across a few latitude lines. What are you talking about? You're saying there's more land. No. Australia, the people know exactly how long Australia is. They know how much gas to put in their car to cross it. They know how long it's going to hop. I mean, they hop in their Cessna. They know how long it's going to take them to cross it. No question. And the latitudes match up exactly. That's how we navigate, is with latitude, dumbass.
Rhetorical, not actually true.
Oh, we don't navigate by latitude? Okay. This is new. How do they navigate?
Orange Chile to Port Phillip in Melbourne, Australia. The distance is 10,500 miles or 143 degrees of longitude away. Factoring in the remaining degrees to 360 meg for a total distance of 26,430 miles around this particular latitude, which is over 1,500 miles wider than Earth is supposed to be at the equator, and many more thousands of miles wider than it's supposed to be at such southern latitudes. Too much land. That's proof 40.
Did you post it? So people hop in their little private Cessnas and they don't know where they're going to be. Huh?
People can be pretty deceived once they trust the wrong institution.
Are you going to talk about the jet stream in the Cessnas because they're up in that jet stream moving really fast, or do Cessnas not go up to the jet stream?
Proof 41 says similar calculations made from the Cape of Good Hope, South Africa to Melbourne, Australia, and average latitude of 35.5 degrees south have given an approximate figure of over 25,000 miles, which is again equal to or greater than the Earth's supposed greatest circumference at the equator. Calculations from Sydney, Australia to Wellington, New Zealand at an average of 37.5 degrees south have given an approximate circumference of 25,500 miles greater still. According to the ball Earth theory, the circumference of the Earth at 37.5 degrees south latitude should be only 19,757 statute miles, almost 6,000 miles less than such practical measurements. Too much land.
Lemon.
Melbourne's 37 degrees, not 32.
Oh man, you need your mic.
Can you hear me?
All right, I'm still
I'm
still a little bit confused, Lemon. So this would represent the 4,000 mile error that you said before would represent an 8-day discrepancy in shipping distances at normal shipping speeds, assuming that they did their full speed the whole time. Can you tell me how that works? They don't come in 8 days later, 8 days early.
You're saying that come in 8 days later, shipping wise? What?
Yes, a container ship would leave if there was a 4,000 mile discrepancy, either positive or negative. That would be about an 8.7 day discrepancy in how long it takes to ship those distances.
I guess I'd have to see what route they're taking. Are they deviating toward the north? Are they actually cutting across the south? What route are they taking?
I'd say usually pretty straight.
wondering why in Lemons, like the Cape Horn to Port Phillip, why it says that 143 degrees of longitude. It's irrelevant because it's not going straight 90 degrees to the latitudes, or the longitudes.
Oh.
Too much land. Too much land.
There is not too much land.
Okay.
How do you?
I measured the distance in Google Earth.
What we figure out? What happened?
Don't get scroogled.
Oh, wait a minute. Lemon mentioned something, asked if they're cutting across the south. How do you do that on a flat Earth and shorten your trip?
Yeah.
It depends on the jet stream. If the jet stream's faster or not.
All those ships flying in a jet stream.
Yes.
They do sail, though. So there's going to be winds that'll help them sail, winds that don't help them sail.
Not in the jet stream.
Speed and distance with GPS. We don't need to fuck around with ocean currents.
Everything's done by computer.
Yeah, and it gives accurate predictions.
Did Charles Lindbergh go through a lot of jet streams?
But again, why would you cut across
I don't know who it is.
You don't cut across the south on the flat Earth, not your AE flat Earth, to give you any sort of advantage.
Unless you want a jet stream.
No. That's not cutting across the south.
Jet streams add 200 miles per hour plus to your trip.
Or
But
subtract.
200. You'd need more than 2,000 miles per hour.
Shipping. We're talking about shipping at the moment.
See, that's 2,000 mile an hour currents.
You want to make the flights from South Africa to Australia in the AE map, you'd need 2,000 miles. No, I think it was 2,500 miles per hour ground speed. So if the airplane's flying 500 miles per hour, you'd need the airspeed or the ground speed should be 3,000, and backwards it should be 2,000.
It's too stupid. I'm sorry I got roped back into this. I'm out.
It's all good.
It is stupid. Plus all the aviator or pilots should be in on it because they'd see the Earth move at 3,000 miles per hour, and all the people inside those planes would see the same thing. And I think you can spot the difference between 500 miles per hour and 3,000 miles per hour.
Yeah. And the fact that the skin temperature on your aircraft would be like 1,400 degrees. That aluminum aircraft would melt.
But to be
All of a
fair,
sudden we can tell when we're. All of a sudden we can tell how fast we're moving.
Yeah, you can feel speed now. Good call. Good catch.
No, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
When you're looking outside of the plane, you see fucking objects moving towards you at 3,000 fucking miles per hour. You don't feel the motion, you see it.
Well, we could definitely see 66,000 miles per hour through space then. Welcome to Flat Earth.
What's your reference point in space?
The sun, moon, and stars.
Yeah,
the other planets.
How fast does the sun move?
Around the galactic center?
No, in reference to the Earth. You were referencing the sun when you talked about the 66,000 miles per hour movement. So what's the difference in speed between Earth and the sun? Or the moon. You said moon too. Is the moon moving 66,000 miles per hour in reference to the Earth? It's not.
Google says it's 536,000 miles around the center of the galaxy.
Okay, when have you last seen?
Miles, huh?
When have you last seen the center of the galaxy and how far away it is?
In normal language, that's 536,000 miles per hour. I don't know what the hell you said. I think that we should start using galactic years instead of solar years.
Shouldn't we all get on the same time on Earth first? Because we're not even at that point yet. Talking about getting it galactically on the same time.
Yeah, we should use a galactic year because 256.
You're gonna live for like 0.000 of a year.
Well, yeah. I mean, why not?
Are you still here?
He said he's going to be back in 15. About 15 minutes ago.
That's way harder than making it at the same time everywhere on Earth.
No, it's a very nice system that works. It tells you when the sun will be overhead.
And you don't even know if that's what's happening out there.
What does that mean?
You don't know what's going on in space. You have no way to validate it. Make it empirical. Get some empirical evidence.
It's logical and deductive for me.
Yeah, you got nothing empirical though.
But you've got nothing empirical.
We got satellites falling into clouds, bro. It's embarrassing. Scratch India.
Yes, you are an embarrassment.
Was there 72 space agencies? We're scratching one off. India's out. That shit's clear cut fakery. When you juxtapose it.
Let me ask this, Jeremy. Is it possible that that's a camera compression artifact?
When you juxtapose
Jeremy, is that possible that that's a camera artifact? Do camera artifacts do that?
No, not possible. We know why.
Oh, okay. So we know camera artifacts can't do that.
Listen,
so you're lying to me?
When you juxtapose a high altitude balloon footage next to that, it's clear cut which one's closer. It's the high altitude balloon. Take any high altitude balloon photo and put it side by side with the Indian one when they're dropping satellites in the clouds. It's clear cut which one's closer. It's not even a guessing game.
How high did they say those satellites were, Jeremy?
360 something kilometers. 390 might have been.
Clouds up there?
Over 350 kilometers. The highest clouds you'll get, I think, are noctilucent clouds, which they ain't even going to look like that. First of all, those were nice, fluffy, poofy clouds. But I think the noctilucent ones are like 100 and some change, 100 kilometers maybe. Not even. No, not 100 kilometers. Not 100. Yeah, 120,000 feet or something. Yeah, not kilometers. My bad. You ain't getting poofy white clouds like that though. Those weren't them. It doesn't matter even if they had those. It's not even close.
So how did they have satellites going into clouds at 350 kilometers?
Well, I mean, like I just said, if you juxtapose a high altitude balloon view up to that view of when they drop the satellites, it's a no-brainer that they're not up that high.
So where do you put them? About 50,000 feet?
They're pretty chill. I mean, they might be. I don't know what Mage was, 120 something.
Okay, 120. So how long would it take for a satellite?
They might be. Hold on, that's not the number I. Yo, that's not the number I put on it, Moyak. That's not the number I put on it.
Okay, how long would it take?
Mage was also a wide angle view.
Sean's
you can't compare the two.
How long would it take for something to drop 50,000 feet like that satellite as it dropped away? How long would it take to drop, say, 50,000?
I'm not putting a height on the Indian ones. It's pure fakery. I don't know what Sean's talking about. Wide angle would make it why wide angle would make it not look like it's farther away or something. I don't understand. Does wide angle make things look farther away? Do we really need to get a high altitude balloon with a rectilinear lens to show you? Shit is a no-brainer, guys. You're fucking.
Yes, you have no brain.
You're bugging. The funny part is a Glober gave it up. That's the funniest part.
Looks like Christopher wants some pictures again.
Your boy Phil Bell, is that your peoples? I ain't never seen him around here. Moyak, that ain't your peoples, Phil Bell? Professor Phil Bell?
You're asking me to speculate why he doesn't come over here?
No, I was saying, is that not your people? Oh, he's never been over here? Or?
I don't know. Are you asking me? I'm trying to figure out what the hell you're saying.
I didn't know if he was like your guys' peoples or not. Like, you guys are cool with that, dude? You agree with what he says, or?
I agree with some of what he says, and I won't say I agree with 100%. I don't know.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Of course. I just didn't know. There's some Globers you guys don't like you know, I don't know, some of the YouTube people, Globers or Rumpus or something, Xanac. No,
Rumpus, it's more of a personality thing. Rumpus is more of a personality. He's
I
right
was just-
90% of the time.
I was joking with Zanuck. I know Zanuck's cool,
Yeah,
kinda.
But Rumpus, and if you want to mention anybody, if they're right, they're right. I don't
Yeah,
have to
but they-
like them.
They're almost always wrong though.
All right, you can blame Chris for this photograph. He wanted to see it again. Here you go, Chris. Just because you wanted to bring up my photo, I'll give you another one.
Bro, you wanna play Photoshop games? We got these satellite space fakery. That rocket is clearly not at the height they say it is. Not even close. However many, what was there, 72 space agencies? Or did you guys add some to the list? How many space agencies you got, Moyak?
Approximately
You are hot
70
mic and
approximately 72. I'm not hot micing. I'm pushing.
Xanth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We're scratching India off, so make that 71.
The only thing we can scratch off is flat Earth.
Bro, we're scratching India off, bro. That shit is clear cut space fakery. Why they do us like that?
Okay.
They're laughing at
As
us.
I asked before, and you cleverly, deceitfully ignored the question, is it possible for video artifacts to cause that?
Yeah, it's not possible though for that rocket to be at the height they say it is. At all. Not even close. I told you, put it side by side, grab any high altitude balloon you want that were a shot where you could see the clouds. It's obvious and clear cut. They're not at that height, bro. The fact that it looks like they're falling into the clouds, is just like the cherry on top.
Who the fuck is broadcasting their home improvement project?
Damn, I look good.
Hubba hubba.
Can't keep my hands off myself.
I'm not surprised. Blimey.
What's the Indian thing? I haven't heard about it. Satellite thing.
It's a
Bro,
very
here, I'll post a picture in debate chat box. I wish I had this
video of them deploying satellites, and they as they go down further and further away, they disappear. Into
Is that the one that Brandon said? Oh, look, you can see parachutes, and of course you can't.
Yes,
look at the clouds. Yeah. Let's look at the clouds. You got them juxtaposed right there. Right. Let's look at the cloud definition. Now, mind you, this one on the right is clearly not zoomed into the clouds because you can see a piece of the rocket. Also, when the satellites deploy.
You have a smaller image. A smaller image. Harder to see.
I wish I had them without the kilometers on top, because you would get people would get them wrong every single fucking time. Because it's obvious which one's farther away right here.
To who?
To everyone with a brain. Anyone with a brain, Kurt.
All right, so you're disqualified. Who are you relying on?
Anyone with a brain curve.
Right. And like I said, you're disqualified. So what's your next move?
So you've got.
You know, it's not zoomed in.
Clouds. Yeah,
There's a piece of the rocket in the right hand. Hold on, there's a piece of the rocket in the right hand side there.
Lens,
Yeah.
zoom.
How
It's also
far-
you can see when
Everything.
also you can see when the rocket the satellites deploy. It's not. It doesn't zoom.
Jeremy, how far is the rocket? The piece of the rocket that you see there from the camera. What's the distance between those two?
It's attached to the rocket, so not far.
Yeah, but how far?
He doesn't know.
I don't know.
How big is the piece that you're seeing there? Is
Still
it
don't know.
10 centimeters, 1 meter, 10 meters?
Still don't know.
So you don't know anything.
Thing about that piece of the rocket, I know that if you were zoomed into the clouds like that, you wouldn't even be able to see that piece of the rocket, or it'd be blocking the whole fucking shot. It's not zoomed in, dude. It's not zoomed in, dude.
But you don't know what zoom it has got. You don't know what focal length it is. You don't know what camera it is. You don't know. Fuck all.
All right.
Look at that.
Take it easy.
Who's mushing mud for spackling?
How big are those satellites? I gotta ask Brandon. He's the authority on this, or Professor Phil Bell, but he gave this as proof.
Brandon's not an authority on fucking
He's
anything.
the authority on this right here.
Ask.
How do you expect to be taken seriously talking shit like that, Jeremy?
I'm just saying he knows a lot about this Indian.
I'm just
satellite
saying
thing.
you're a fucking clown.
Brandon knows fuck all about fuck all, and you think he's an
No, he knows a lot on this. If I
Jeremy,
knew how big
are
those, if I knew how big
clouds?
those satellites, hold on, if I knew how big those satellites were, would that tell you how much it was zoomed in?
You could possibly research it.
How big are those clouds?
He doesn't know.
How big are the clouds? Well, they could be as big as the ones in Mage 2. Who cares?
could
Look
be
at the
much bigger.
definition. Look at the definition on them, bro. You're not going to get that from. You know how much higher you'd have to be than Mage 2?
And it depends on the size of the cloud. If it's the size of a fucking coin,
That
you
one on
won't
the
even
right,
see it.
that one on the right is claiming to be 540 kilometers higher. Are you nuts?
Yeah.
Anyone that believes that, you're brain dead at this point. You're really brain dead if you think that's 540 kilometers higher than the Mage 2 photo.
I've
Sorry.
taken pictures of objects that are far away, and then I've taken pictures of them when I'm close to them, and they've been the same angular size.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Jeremy, when will you know enough to know that you don't know what you're doing?
Would you be willing to talk to Obama about flat Earth?
They probably, I doubt they tell the president. You think he's in the need to know category of people? You guys think it's like trillions of people and shit, but
No,
it's probably
actually,
like,
nobody thinks it's
it could be like
people.
whatever.
I'm being that there hasn't been a trillion people on Earth since the
Billion.
beginning of
You
time.
guys think a billion people would have to be in on it?
No,
Should be,
No,
there should
millions.
How
be
many, Moyak? Let's hear your number.
millions. Millions.
hundreds of
Millions?
thousands to millions.
Yeah.
Nah, see, you're dead wrong on that.
Most pilots and
No.
well,
pilots.
obviously everyone
No,
doing
absolutely
work
no
with
pilots.
space.
No pilots. would
Many
be in on it.
pilots. They would
No
have to
pilots.
be.
Zero.
How would you fly? How would you fly from South Africa to Australia in 14 hours, and then say that
They
"Nah,
don't,
it's
bro. They
flat"?
set a destination and just go. They set a
No,
destination
that's
and
not
go.
what they
Flies
do.
like it's
No,
it
that's
flies
not what
like
they
it's
do.
flat.
No,
Set a
that's
heading.
not what they
They
do.
set a heading. They don't set a
No.
heading.
No, they don't.
Yes, you always have a heading when you're flying. You're
No,
not just out
No,
there
you don't.
flying around for fun.
no, you don't. You don't
You're
know.
just flying around going nowhere. You have no heading.
No.
Every time
No,
a plane
you don't-
leaves,
you
it
don't
doesn't
set a
know where
heading.
it's going.
No,
So
you set a course. You set a
When
course.
planes
You don't
take
set a
off,
heading.
they don't know where they're going.
They know where
So
they're
they
going.
do know where they're going. They do know where they're going.
Yeah,
so
but
they
they
have a
don't.
heading.
But they don't set a heading. They set a course through waypoints.
All
They
right.
make a flight plan, which is based on the WGS-84 model, which is a globe, and they can predict their flight time, and they know the weather of the route. So, I mean,
I know.
they'd have to lie.
Yes. I
Yeah.
know, well, man. I know.
Just in case
Billions
anybody's
and zillions
wondering,
of
because
people.
it came up.
Millions.
Those 4 cube satellites that were launched were part of the Lima group. They would appear to be Lemur 2 satellites, which are 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 34.5 centimeters and weigh approximately 4 kilos. So they're really quite small.
So we're seeing those. So we're seeing those tiny little things, and that good of cloud
wow, it's almost as if we're zoomed way the fuck in.
Thank you.
They're not zoomed way the fuck in.
Maybe we are.
Have to be able to see them like that because they're tiny little satellites. That longest length is just over a foot.
You only see them right when they get ejected, and then they disappear due to angular size.
How many
seconds? You guys.
Oh,
and that's very slow rate video. So you're talking about probably they're in view for like in real time more than 10 seconds.
And we don't know their speed of what they're going away from the rocket.
Oh, you don't know how fast they're falling? Do they fall?
No.
Do they fall slower than?
We don't know how fast they're falling. We don't know how fast they're falling.
Yeah, we don't know.
According to you guys, they shouldn't be falling. They should be going in orbit.
Well,
but they are.
You see them falling.
You don't even know their vector.
Victor.
Down.
Just down. They're just falling down. That's their vector down. What's going to stop them from going down then? These are satellites. They're launching satellites.
Look like they're going down.
Do they have? Do those 10 centimeter things have a? Hey, do those 10 centimeter things have a propulsion system?
So if those 10 represents 10 seconds, something that's 10 centimeters, how far away will that be in 10 seconds?
How fast is it going? How fast is it going?
Doesn't matter. It's dropping away from us.
Doesn't matter how fast.
If it's falling from a balloon,
time over distance.
If it's falling out of a balloon, we know how fast it's falling. Gravity works about the same at the top of clouds as it does. What velocity? Horizontal velocity? That's still going to be dropping towards the surface.
You have no idea their vector or their speed they're going. You're ridiculous.
What do you drop that goes because of density and buoyancy?
This is where your fantasy math starts.
No, because of density
Start doing
and
some
buoyancy.
fantasy math and avoid the obvious.
In density and buoyancy, how fast things fall.
Avoid the obvious.
By the way, they have no propulsion system, but they orbit anywhere between 400 to 650 kilometers up.
No, they're not that high. It's obvious.
Right. No, we're trying to determine that and using logic and deduction, which you're absolutely capable of, bereft of the ability. So in 10 seconds, how fast will the distance in between objects be increasing?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Bro, they're getting hit. You don't even know when they disappear because I say they're getting hidden by cloud cover. So
right. No, I
have no idea about anything. I don't know what math you're trying to do.
Well, you can tell by time that first off, it's slow rate video. I'm guessing about a frame per second, and it takes about I don't know, 5 to 8 seconds.
Ridiculous math thing. Go.
Yeah, it's ridiculous math thing. Let's not try to think through this.
It's obvious. It's obvious that the clouds aren't.
It's obvious.
They're not as far away. Yeah. If you could even see those things would take up the whole screen when they shot out of the rocket if they were zoomed in. You wouldn't be able to see a part of the rocket if they were zoomed in.
You see part of the rocket? I didn't see it in your image.
It's on the right-hand side.
Hey, look.
Hang on, let me go back to the video again. Right, there goes.
Look at the guys. Look at the definition of the clouds on both of the images. The one on the right has to be 540 kilometers higher than the other one. Are you guys nuts? Come on, guys. Be realistic.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Be a fucking lunatic like Jeremy is.
Just be reasonable.
All right, where do you see a rocket in this image? I do not see the rocket at all.
It's on the
right-hand side. I think the structure that these CubeSats are held in. And you can see them being launched out of it, being ejected out of it.
Jeremy said juxtaposed.
They stay visible.
Juxtaposed. He's got to be correct.
They're juxtaposed.
Is that a rocket or is that the next Cube satellite being launched?
It carried several different satellites, but it had 4 of those CubeSats. It had something like 7 or 8. Hang on, let's open.
Right, but is that square edge there? That looks like one of the Cube satellites. I'm just wondering, is that the Cube satellite or is that the rocket?
Well, it's a job to tell because it actually carried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 satellites. And the 4 CubeSats are lemurs. That's the low Earth multi-use receiver.
And you know what's really funny? Is that they're still up there doing their job.
Oh, yes.
They were put there, and there's a new function that was added to the suite of tools that humans have to use.
So it carried a QPS-SAR, that's a satellite, a TIVAC 0092, that's another satellite, a TIVAC 0129, a Dutchifat 3, 1 HopSat, and 4 lemurs.
Did anybody post
This
video?
is the best. The irony is the Glober sent this. This is the best evidence of space fakery I might have ever seen.
It's not evidence of space fakery, though.
It absolutely is.
You're just pretending it is because you want it to be. But it
No,
doesn't
because it's obvious that they're not
Sure.
540 kilometers higher than the picture on the left-hand side.
Oh, really? Oh, really? You're very
really,
carefully cherry picking which image to show then.
Did you post a video? I don't see it anywhere.
Oh, I don't even know if I have the video.
Where did you get the image from?
Let me post the website.
A video.
Right, there's the website, and on board, and in there you'll find the PSLV-C48 liftoff and onboard camera view. That's the video that everybody's talking about. And when it starts, the payload fairing comes off at approximately 47 seconds in, and you can see how far above the Earth it is because you can see the Earth behind, and then you see the resat separation. So that's a satellite gone. You can just about see the Earth on one side, and then you can see the curvature of the Earth and the unclouded section when it starts dispensing the CubeSat. But let's ignore all of that and go for the very carefully cherry-picked image.
CubeSat.
Yes, that's what they call CubeSats.
And is that the ones they launch from by fucking them out into space?
Well, all satellites are.
No, it's obvious they're not in space here because they're
actually
they're lower. They're lower than
obvious.
Mage. They're lower than the Mage image.
No, they're fucking not. You're
Yeah,
just
it's
making shit up now.
It's look at the cloud definition. Look at the cloud definition on that one, and look at the cloud definition on the Mage one. Now imagine the one on the right is 540 kilometers higher. You're just. I don't want to start calling names, but it's really hard not to.
You are just blatantly ignoring the very start before the first CubeSat comes out, where you can see the curvature of the Earth and you can see just how high up it is, and it's clearly much higher than Mage was.
What keeps these CubeSats then in orbit?
Orbital mechanics.
The same thing that keeps all satellites in orbit?
Yeah, it's called orbital mechanics. It's a combination of the speed it's flying at and the height it's flying at.
I thought they were all constantly falling.
That's what an orbit is.
And they have to reboost themselves back, don't they?
No, they don't.
So you
and
just
the CubeSats can't. The CubeSats have no onboard propulsion system whatsoever.
So you just fuck this box out into the middle of nowhere and just hope you don't hit it on the way back round, yeah?
No, you don't just fuck this box out. There are people who actually sit down and work it out and do the maths.
Well, the video I seen, he just threw the fucking thing.
Oh, yeah. So how did it throw it out?
He threw it out with his hand.
You've no idea, have you? You've got absolutely no idea what you're talking about. That's okay.
He threw it with his hand. I watched him.
He threw it.
Yeah. There's
the non-existent astronaut on the Indian rocket threw it out.
He's talking about another.
Absolutely barking fucking mad.
Oh, this ain't from the ISS then, no?
You don't even know what we're fucking talking about.
Well, the ones I've seen, they launched them from the ISS, and it was like a little cube thing. And he just fucked it out into space.
No, he didn't. Because the CubeSats they launched from the ISS weren't actually on board and inside the ISS.
Was it a curveball, an underhand, Brian? What kind of pitch did he throw?
He put a bit of side spin on it, yeah.
And we have Farmer's Boy today claiming how that was possible. It had to be you, Farmers, eh?
Hello, retard. How's it going?
You fucking moron.
If I throw something back towards Earth, just straight down, what's that going to do to the velocity? I mean, I'm trying to think how much, like a 10-mile-an-hour throw will change the orbit.
Absolute fucking nonsense.
Yes, they're going to sit here now, Brian, and they're going to tell us how this is possible. I'm dying to hear this.
Why should we say anything to you?
I wish you were dying.
A retard like you.
Something you can hold in your hand. What fucking signal could it send out?
Well, depending on battery life and power consumption, you can send out 100 watts with it, you can send out 1,000 watts with it, or you can send out a quarter watt for many hours, or you can use solar panels on it and be able to send it indefinitely. What are you talking about?
What battery system's it using in this minus 250 degrees?
What's wrong with that? What's the circuitry in it that's and what are the temperature capabilities of that circuitry?
My sister couldn't even get a phone to work in fucking Sweden.
Wow, now that's impressive.
Was it a satellite?
That was designed to work. Yeah, a satellite or a phone that was designed to work at X temperature. There's certain things that I have that can work in ovens, like thermometers, and other ones that if you put them in there, like glass thermometers, they'll shatter in the oven. What's the deal? I don't. Wow, it's like things can be constructed differently.
I'll tell you the deal. It's absolute fucking nonsense.
Yes, that's what
because you say it is.
His personal ignorance and incredulity out trump everything else.
Talks the peanut gallery, man.
Maybe it was so cold that your sister's phone's radio just was the electrons just stopped moving.
How about the other satellites there with Professor Phil Bell? Have you guys seen those?
They've allegedly got sats up there from the 60s.
Yeah.
And now they're still functional.
Yeah.
And now they're operating digital signals from them, which we never fucking had in the 60s.
Who said they're getting digital signals from 60 satellites?
You just made that up. Dude.
He's just saying things that he thinks make sense.
It's technically possible for those satellites still to be functioning because they happen to be solar powered. So as long as they're getting sunlight and as long as nothing's sort of broken, burnt out, or what have you, then why wouldn't it keep working? Because it's going to keep getting sunlight.
Wait a second.
It's got photovoltaic cells to turn the sunlight into electricity and to charge its batteries. That's how these fucking satellites work.
I don't know of any from the 60s, but there are some from the 70s that are still working. Those are the Voyagers. They run on a nuclear power
This is true, and they're still sending signals back after 40 plus years.
But 60s, I don't know of anything from the 60s that's still
there might well still be something in orbit, but I doubt very much possible. But let's have a look.
Anything they tell you, you will believe. If they tell you they'll be running till the year 25.
Actually, I would have
you would believe it.
That. If they said
Montreal,
there was something from the 60s still working, I would be.
You believe everything that complete idiots tell you, so.
That's the third time you addressed me 3 ad homs. Am I getting to you?
No, you're just an obnoxious.
No, they're not. They're not ad homs. They're just statements of fact, dear boy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, Jen. You're going to have to show me a link. I can't find any satellites that are older than 1974 that are functional.
Ah, here we go. I don't think it's not functional, but Vanguard 1, America's second satellite, is still in orbit.
Yeah, well, I'd expect them to still be in orbit. Yeah, that could be for 100 years.
It stopped communicating in 1964, but it's still up there and will be for quite some time, unless somebody goes up and grabs it and thinks, hello, we'll have this and stick it in a museum.
Yeah, Jim, it seems like you might have some errant information. Surprise, surprise.
They just forget about what bullshit they put out prior, that's all.
Oh, did you find it? Yeah, I'd like to see the bullshit that you're talking about. Is the crickets you searching feverishly to find this, or are you just ignoring it?
Right, the satellite that was in operation for the longest, GEOS or GOES 3, was launched in 1978, and it was switched off and decommissioned remotely in 2016. So it was up there and being used as a communication satellite for 38 years.
Wow, that's impressive. What a piece of
It
engineering.
was originally a weather satellite, but it stopped doing that in 1969, and I think they managed to rejig it from down here and used it as a comm satellite up until 29th of June 2016. So yeah, it'd been in use for 38 years.
That's impressive.
That is quite impressive.
I got to see the circuits, you know, what kind of circuits it had to see if I believed it, but it's plausible.
So that was launched whilst I was at primary school. And they only switched it off, not even 5 years ago.
So have you geniuses discussed the what Professor Phil Bell with those satellites being launched downwards? Did you geniuses discuss this yet?
Launched downwards?
They weren't launched downwards.
Depending on how you want to use the wording, I don't see any problem with that wording.
The rocket that they were being distributed from was actually still going up, because eventually it was putting a satellite in orbit higher than them. That's why the rocket was still climbing, because it had a total of 9 satellites on it.
I knew it would be you. Did you see the ones that went into the clouds?
Oh, fuck me. That's what I've been talking about for the last half hour. Jesus wept. They don't go into the clouds. They're nowhere near the clouds.
Even from a flat Earth perspective.
An idiot.
So you didn't see Brandon's breakdown where they go clearly into the clouds?
They don't go clearly into the clouds. There are no parachutes. He's talking bollocks. But that's what he does. So, and of course, you're going to swallow a hook, line, sinker rod and copy of Angling Time.
I was the one that said they're going downwards. They have a downward trajectory. I saw the video. Unlike you, who's going to make excuses of it.
Oh no, I've watched it several times. As you might have guessed, because I did post a screenshot from it. The screenshot that everybody seems to ignore. They just go straight to the bit where there's nothing but cloud. But if you go to a few seconds beforehand, you can see the curvature of the Earth, and you can see it's obviously a damn sight higher than the Mage project. But there you go.
So if you were to launch these satellites at 395 miles, where you'd want them to go into a higher trajectory, you would launch them toward the clouds. That's what you would do, farmers.
No, I never said that at all. But
so why are you supporting the ones that did that?
I'm not. I don't design rockets. I design much more humble stuff than that, I'm afraid.
Thank God for that.
Well, Red Bull Racing were quite happy with what I did for them.
What do you design, if I may ask?
Well, at that time, I was designing prefabricated, and I designed a 3-sectional plant room that went on top of a roof of a very special, and at the time, top secret building that Red Bull Racing were building just up the road here at Milton Keynes. It had 4 megawatts of boiler plant and the biggest pumps I ever did see. And it was in 3 sections and probably weighed a total of about 45 tons, if I remember. We had to get an 800-ton crane in to lift the sections into place. And they were very happy with it, so I must be doing something fucking right.
Well, good for you, farmers. You have hands-on experience, but yet your brain doesn't work. I don't get it, bro.
Well, yeah, it's strange. I've been designing heating, ventilation, air conditioning, hot and cold water pipe work, medical gases, you name it, anything mechanical services in a building. I've been designing them, drawing them, coordinating them, sometimes supervising on site for 33 years, and yet you think my brain doesn't work. That's stunning.
Yes, because you obviously see a downward trajectory vector on a launch, which should clearly be going upwards, and you're making excuses of it instead of saying, what the hell?
Well,
What's going on here?
have you ever seen the video from what is it, Vandenberg, where the rocket takes off and it goes over land, and there's a video where it's going downhill according to the one camera right at the launch site, and then somebody 100 miles downrange takes a picture of it and it's still going up. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a perspective view from the ground. We're talking about an up view from the release itself. That's a two different
Yes,
ballgame.
but it seems like when you get downrange, it's still going up, but from the original position, it looks like it's going down. It doesn't make any sense. You say indicate it's arcing downwards, but it's not. It's still obviously arcing upwards.
If you say so, dude.
Well, it's not if I say so. It's do you agree with the evidence? You think the evidence is fake? Of course you do.
No, I saw
It's your only hope.
No, I saw the evidence with my own eyes, and those satellites clearly have a downward trajectory and clearly.
Oh, you're talking about when they're released from?
Their vectors mainly. Their vectors mainly down, no question.
Mainly down, right?
Yeah, they're going down. They don't have no propulsion system on them either.
Yeah.
They're falling down, and they're 10 centimeters. How long should you be able to see 10 centimeters?
You're not worried about the falling down part?
Not at all.
Their satellite's supposed to be going in orbit.
Well, they're launched off with springs, and they also you have the acceleration of the craft to contend with.
So explain to us, what mechanism are they going to use to go up to their trajectory where they should be in orbit?
They aren't. If Farmer's Boy is correct, which I haven't researched it enough, but he suggests that the rocket is still accelerating at that point. So all they're doing
I'm not talking about the rocket. Hello? This is not about the rocket.
If you release something from a rocket and it's still accelerating, that object will appear to be falling.
So they're not actually falling. They're not actually going into the clouds, which we clearly see.
No, they got too small to differentiate from clouds? Is that possible?
Yeah, you don't see them going into the clouds. You're just making that up.
Because what you would expect, you know what, I can prove that that's not right, because what you would expect to see is the object that disappears into the clouds would come out of the clouds in several places. Like you can see it disappear, and then it goes through a clear spot of sky, and it never comes back. So it obviously is some kind of an angular resolution or a optical effect.
Obviously.
Well, isn't that true? I mean, you would see it afterwards as it passed through those clear patches in between clouds. You don't.
Moyak,
So it didn't disappear because of the clouds.
Have you seen the video?
Yes. You want to post it again, though? I don't have access to it.
I'll get it off of Brandon's and post it later. But you see clearly they're going into the clouds. Clearly.
No, they're not. They're not going into the clouds at all. You just can't see them anymore because they're only a foot long, for fuck's sake. They're tiny little things.
And you would expect to see them come out of the clouds, and they didn't.
Yes, you see one going into the clouds and coming out of the clouds.
No, you don't.
As I recall from the video, you don't see that. So, I mean, I did look for that.
You're lying, SC. That's the long and the short of it.
Put the video up. Let's have a look.
Now using the pistol grip tool
video
to
up.
release 3.
Do you have access to the video, Brian? Because these guys won't put it up. They know it's damning.
I put the link to that site that shows everything, including the video. When did I put it up? Oh, let me scroll back.
So the idea is that people just make rockets, they just shoot them in the ocean. correct. Actually, that's what's happening.
I'm talking about this particular thing here.
Such an idiot.
All right. Let me put the website up again. There we go. It's the fourth item down on the right. PSLV C-48 liftoff and onboard.
Good stuff. Now, people watch that and tell me those things don't go into the clouds.
There goes the resat. That's the first satellite launched, clearly going out into space. Then the DLAU separation. Bing! Satellite going into space. See the curvature of the Earth just because it's actually looking out towards the sun. You're getting a lot of glare. Oh, there's the curve of the Earth. There goes the satellite. 1, 2.
Where you posted
another one. And there should be another one in a minute. Bing! There it goes.
Where you posted it?
Debate chat box. There goes another one.
And which way are they traveling?
And eventually, you can't see them because they're too small and too far away. Oh, look, there's another view. There's another view of them right at the end, and they're not falling towards the Earth at all. It's just perspective and viewpoint. Oh, dear.
So are you saying they're going up towards the heavens?
No, they're going out. They're just being ejected out of the craft that's carrying them. That's generally what these little things do. Have you never watched one of the SpaceX trains?
Yeah, but this is not like that. This is clearly going down.
Is it really? Just keep watching until you get to within the last, sort of 10 or 15 seconds of the video. And it's a totally different viewpoint from a totally different camera. Whoosh. They're not going down at all. They're just being sort of put into orbit. Nobody looks at those last few seconds. I wonder why.
I can't see what you're looking at, but I saw that clearly, and they were in the clouds.
You need to go to about 1 minute 45. So it's literally, you've got like sort of 12 seconds left. You've got barely 10 seconds before you see the Indian flag. But it cuts to a different camera view. You can see a lot of glare of the sun. You can see the curvature of the Earth. And you can see these satellites being dispensed from whatever mechanism's holding them. And it gives you a totally different viewpoint. And they're not going down towards the Earth at all. But let's ignore those last few seconds, shall we? Good old
No. I saw what you're talking about, where they shoot them out of that thing. I saw that. But they clearly go down after that, farmers.
No, not that bit. The bit right towards the end of the video, from 46. Well, there's a lot of glare from the sun down in the bottom right-hand corner. In fact, it's probably just a little bit. Hang on, let's find exactly the right timestamp. Not 1 minute 40. Yeah, about 1 minute 40, 1 minute 41. It changes view from one camera to another, and you get a lot of glare from. And you see the satellites being launched, and they're not going down at all. And it only lasts literally a few 141, 142, 143, 144, 145. That's it. So it's about 5 seconds worth before you see the Indian flag fluttering in the breeze.
Boy, the Indians screwed up on this one.
No, they didn't. They did exactly what they set out to do. Launched, 8 or 9 satellites?
Into the clouds. Way to go, boys.
So you're ignoring those last few seconds completely then, that don't agree whatsoever with this bullshit theory. Fine.
I haven't seen those last few seconds. I'll check them out after. I can't see them right now. But I saw the whole thing, and I'm sure you're making something up.
No, I'm not. Go from about 1 minute 40, where it changes camera view completely. And there's only a few seconds. It's barely 5 seconds. But you can see the satellites being launched, and they're not going anywhere near down towards the Earth. They're being put into orbit. But everybody seems to be ignoring those last seconds. I don't know why. It's very strange.
I'll check that out after when I have capability. But I'm sure you're just talking.
Yeah, I know, Montreal. I know. Heaven forbid that anybody debunks your bizarre beliefs.
It's not my bizarre. I see it with my two eyes. It's very, very damning, if you ask me.
No, see, it's not. You're just seeing A, what people have told you to expect to see, and B, what you want to see. But what you're not actually seeing is the truth. These are tiny little satellites. They're along their longest length. They're just over a foot long. I mean, they're a little bit bigger than a toaster. You know,
Yeah,
and these things are moving away from the camera, and at some point, you just can't see them because they're too fucking small.
Dude, I saw the whole video on Brandon's. I didn't see
So if you
anything
saw
of what
the
you're
whole
talking
video,
about, but I'm gonna rewatch it just for you.
if you saw the whole video, you know exactly about the 5 seconds at the end that shows something completely different to what's being claimed.
I don't
As
remember seeing
extremists
anything
point out.
and me saying, "Oh, that looks different." No.
Well, it does look different because it's a completely different camera with a different angle, a different everything.
Well, yeah, different angle. Okay, so what?
So what? It shows that the satellites aren't falling towards Earth.
No, I saw the whole thing, and they all seem to be falling down towards the clouds after they're launched. I don't know what you've seen.
Oh dear.
That's what I saw.
I'm going to have to do another screen grab, aren't I? Never mind. Whatever, mate. Whatever.
What's statute miles an hour?
Oh, you're watching the spacewalk, are you?
Yeah.
A statute. Oh Christ, I can't remember what statute mile is. It's just. I think it's just a mile. I think that's just what they call it to differentiate it from a nautical mile.
They just said it. The space station doing 266 statute miles an hour.
Yes, that's just what we would call a mile. That's to differentiate it from a nautical mile, which is different. A statute mile is a mile. What we landlubbers just call a mile, or 5,280 feet. That's a mile. That's when they say a statute mile. That's what they're talking about, because they don't want people to get confused between miles and nautical miles.
I thought you were doing 17,500 miles an hour.
Is that statute miles or regular miles?
I thought that too, Brian. Do we have two speeds now?
Hold on, let me go and grab it.
No, the statute mile she's quoting is its altitude.
Or the altitude?
Yes.
I'm sure she said miles an hour. She might have said it wrong then. Hold on, let me have a look.
No, she would have said that it is orbiting at 200 and whatever it is. I think it's been about 260 miles at the moment, statute miles above the Earth. Because she repeats that every now and then just to remind people. I mean, let's have a look. It is currently at 264.64 miles and is somewhere over. Oh, where is that? It's over Kazakhstan at the moment at a speed of 4.75 miles per second. Which is 17,100 miles an hour. And without looking at the video feed, it should be in darkness. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, you can see they're in darkness.
You know what's funny? When I filmed the ISS, it looked to me that it was traveling just slightly faster than a plane. Funny that, eh?
Yeah, but you know, if you line up 3 frames along its route, you'll find out it's flying a shitload faster than a plane. About 17,500 miles per hour, ground speed.
It's a little bit faster.
There ain't a plane that's been built that can get anywhere near that sort of speed. There are man-made craft.
Have you guys seen it with your own eyes, visually?
What, the ISS? Oh, more times than I care to remember.
Did it appear to you that it was traveling much, much faster than a plane?
Did you hear what we said? If you stand
Never mind
3
what
people
you
in a,
said.
or if you
I'm
stand 2
asking
people
for
in a line,
question.
Never mind what you said.
I know what aircraft moving at speed look like because I grew up within spitting distance, well, a bit further, of the 2 biggest American air bases in England. So I'm quite used to seeing planes. Actually, I was used to seeing military planes, not just airliners. I was used to seeing military planes all the time, including just about the fastest one they ever built. I used to see the Blackbird about once a week when it was still operational. So I know the difference between an aircraft flying up. Yeah, the Blackbird. It was stationed at Mildenhall, RF Mildenhall, and that was about 10 or 12 miles as a crow flies. We was under the routes, the air flights of Lakenheath and Mildenhall. They were pretty much the two biggest American air bases in Europe.
So you're the perfect guy to ask. How would you compare the speeds?
Well, and the distance, I don't like the comparison.
Well, if you forget what it is and how far up it is, then I would say that on average, a military jet would probably look a bit faster, depending on obviously what one it was. Because if you've ever seen the C-5 Galaxy flying, your first thought is, how the fuck does it stay up there? It's barely moving. Obviously, I know how it stays up there, and it does stay up there. But I mean, the ISS, it's, you know, when it's going from horizon to horizon in about 5 minutes, that's knocking on some. You can tell it's moving fast.
I'm thinking about my observations of airplanes also. Like, they seem to slow down as they get further away from the satellites. Seem to maintain a much higher velocity than aircraft at a distance. I might be wrong about that, but that's my personal observation.
What I found really weird is I was able to follow it with my bare hands, like after a few months with the camera.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what?
well, you will.
I can follow a race car with my bare hands.
It's 260 miles up. Of course you can. That's exactly what you'd expect.
And if I try and film a race car from 10 feet away, it's hard to follow it with my hand. But if I follow it like from a mile away on the racetrack, it's like really easy. In fact, I can track aircraft which are moving 500 miles an hour. And like the only thing I had trouble is keeping my hand steady enough to keep it in frame.
And yet, ironically, when you go to a race circuit and watch Formula One cars going past, particularly when and certainly in the old days when they were filming them with lower cameras, they couldn't keep up with the bloody things as they went past.
Oh, I'd watch F1 cars here in Montreal live. That was a blast.
Oh yeah, yeah. The problem is you never actually get to see much of the race, do you?
No, it's funny when you're really there. It's like, what the hell did I come here for?
Exactly, because you basically have to pick a corner and stay there unless you can move around a bit. But that's why I'm more than happy to watch it on TV. Because I mean, I've had this with I've had several mates who've raced motorbikes. We used to go and spanner for them and all sorts of things. And they go out, and once they've disappeared around a corner or just got to the end of the start-finish straight, you ain't got a fucking clue what's going on.
Absolutely no clue. It's actually the worst sport to see. I was at a curve, and all I would see was decelerating and accelerating, and that was it for a few seconds.
Yep. Yeah. You if you want to watch the whole race, watch it on the TV. Because if you go to the circuit, I mean, yes, you get the smell and the noise and the whole fear of it, but you see fuck all of the race, and you end up. It's like going to a bloody concert when you can't get anywhere near the front. You end up with a big screen. You know, you're there, but all you can see is what's on the screen.
Farmer's Boy, listen to that video. I just clipped it out.
Yeah, she got that wrong.
Oh boy.
Well, she did.
Houston, we have a problem.
That is not flying at 266 statute miles an hour because they'd, oh, fuck me, yeah, they'd be in trouble.
So that would be less than a jet plane, half the speed.
Well, like I say, it depends. There are quite a few jet planes that will fly at that speed or slower. You know, there are jet planes and there are jet planes. But yeah, that is a very definite gaffe. But they do, bless her. I mean, she's sitting there commentating on this thing all day, and they do make mistakes quite a lot. But that's an easy mistake to make, you know, because she's actually referring to its altitude, not its speed. If the ISS slowed down that much, well,
it would be a rock.
Boom!
It will go boom. I mean, just fried to a crisp.
I think it's big enough. A lot of it makes it.
Yeah, well, it's big, but there's I mean there are some major solid bits in there. I mean, obviously all of the PV arrays and the radiators and everything would just go in an instant. But
Skylab
actually,
landed in Australia.
The thing that would survive would be that main truss, because that is fucking solid. That's just chock full of shit. And of course, that's most of what we see. Most of the ISS doesn't have astronauts in it ever. What you're seeing is the main truss and everything that's bolted to it. And that's why they have to do so many spacewalks, because obviously most of the kit's bolted on the outside. They ain't got room for it inside. Not the big chunky stuff, anyway. So I went back to that video and I took a screenshot, and that's what I was referring to. That's a totally different camera with a totally. And that's from 1 minute 46. It's literally the last few seconds before you see the Indian flag.
You can see the Earth.
You can see the Earth. You can see glare from the sun. Lots and lots of glare from the sun, obviously. And that's one of the CubeSats being, one of the satellites being spat out. Anyway, whilst we've been talking, it's gone over Kazakhstan. It's gone over China, and it's just.
Wait, airplanes can't do that.
It's just about to cross into Myanmar, previously known as Burma. Here we go. It's just going to cross the border any second now. There you go.
Wait. Aircraft can't do that.
No. I mean, the fastest air breathing one, and did piss off a lot of people when I said, "Oh yeah, the Blackbird, yeah, I'll see that about once a week." You know, that could do sort of Mach 3. The X-15, obviously, a rocket plane could go much faster than that, but still only hit. Oh, what did the X-15 hit? Mach 7, Mach 8, something like that, I think, maybe.
Yeah, but that thing started off at 70,000 feet. Right?
Well, it had a head start. It had to. It couldn't get up there under its own power.
Well, maybe they've improved the engines. Now they can give the same thrust for the same amount of time. For 20 years.
Let's have a look at the speed records. I can't remember what the X-15 got up to. It was
Mach 7.
Oh, Mach 6.7. It achieved a speed of 4,520 miles per hour.
That's still slow.
3rd of October 1967, piloted by a William J. Knight.
That's still very slow compared to what the ISS's ground speed is.
Yes. And the official top speed of the Blackbird is Mach 3.3, which is 2,193.17 miles an hour. Which, for something with a couple of jet engines, is pretty good going. And the speed record on the moon is 11.
Furthest the golf ball's been hit on the moon.
I believe he took up 2, didn't he? I think he took 2 golf balls up.
Well, I would guess that it'd be substantially slower than a fast golf ball on Earth, because there's very limited range of motion on these swing. I'll wager that golf ball didn't hit 40 miles an hour.
I was wondering the distance, because I'd be jealous. I wish I could hit a golf ball as far as they did on the moon.
Now, I can't remember how far. I'm not entirely sure they actually said how, but
I'm guessing probably 100 yards would probably been a long shot for it.
Probably doesn't slice on the moon either with no air.
Ooh, good point.
Okay, the fastest speed achieved by humans relative to Earth was the re-entry of the Apollo 10 capsule. 24,791 miles per hour, 32 times the speed of sound. Just imagine whilst they're doing that, all they'll be thinking, please let the heat shield work. Please let the heat shield work. 0.00037% of the speed of light.
The incredulity in here is palpable. He'll completely ignore the fact that the ground speed is 17,000, but it looks like it's the same speed from his camera. Well, by that metric, when I'm driving down the highway past a mountain, that mountain's like really moving slowly.
Yeah.
I think we got to work on near and far with the flat earthers guy. Yeah, like the Sesame Street. Near, far.
No, I think the Father Ted one's much better.
Which one?
These are small. They're far away.
Small.
That's just the
Far
funniest
away.
fucking clip ever. That is. Oh, Father Ted! What? Oh, that was so funny. What a series.
Witsit literally couldn't get that.
Well, they do like to use irony there.
I asked Witsit if the moon gets smaller as you get closer, and he said yes.
What? How does anything get smaller when you get closer to it?
I didn't inquire.
Oh no, that is a meme in the flat Earth community. That's when you get high up, the moon gets smaller, like high altitude balloons. Of course, they never check the angular size of it in the camera to decide whether it's smaller or larger. They just say it looks small. I have a special camera on my cell phone, which makes the moon look really small.
Yeah, it's called a crap one.
He and Lemon both agreed that things get smaller as you get closer to them.
They do like backing each other up, no matter how frankly bizarre or fucking stupid the other one said. It's like, oh yeah, he's right, yeah.
I
tell my missus that every night.
I'm sure
I think he was just doubling down on his rhetoric. I think that's basically what it was.
Angular size, that's what I tell her.
I'm not fucking going there. I'm just not going there.
Good one, bro.
Sweetie, you're just too far away from my dick. Get closer.
Does the moon get smaller as you get closer to it, Montreal?
Yeah, Brenda. Nice try.
I'm just
That's
curious.
a serious question.
Does it?
Do you agree with those with the other flat earthers who say that? From a high altitude balloon, does the moon get smaller?
It's
Oh wow! I'm just looking at a list of people who have been into space, and it's separated down into countries. So on this Wikipedia page, I don't know what date this was at last update, but they have a total of 565 people who've been into space. Shout out for the countries that have had one person, such as Mexico, Mongolia, Syria has an astronaut, Afghanistan has an astronaut. I mean, wow.
Is that 565 separate human trips to space, or
That's
is that 565 individuals?
No, it's 565 individuals.
How about the Polish one? Have you heard about the Polish cosmonaut?
Oh yeah, the one who was taking a piss in that yeah.
The one that was taking a piss and was saying it's plata, it's flat, plata. That one.
Yep, that one.
You saw that one? Okay, just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure you saw that one.
Yeah, 125 Russian stroke Soviet Union, depending on time. 346 American.
How many was the total number? Or what was the total number?
565.
So we have 564 people saying it's a globe and one saying that it was flat, and we should listen to the one guy who said it's flat.
Yeah, and he was taking a piss because he got fed up with all the people saying, "Go on then, was it flat? Was it flat?" You know.
So let's get this straight now. You want to trust these people that were sworn to secrecy by the government. You're gonna believe what they tell you, right?
Essie, which government?
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, all the ones that have a space program. Yes, don't laugh.
SC verified.
They're all military men, and they're.
Did you
all
verify this?
sworn
No,
to
verified
secrecy.
it. How do you know that? Tell us how you verified it, SC.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Just make claims and don't back them up. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Everyone has to sworn to secrecy to hide their creator. I did it.
No, these are military secrets, dude.
Yeah.
Regardless of the shape of the Earth, they are sworn to secrecy.
Show me the document that says this.
The Masonic oaths and stuff like that.
Yeah, Masonic oaths. True. Yeah.
Other fantasy.
Yeah.
Gotta love those secret societies.
Oh, actually, this.
Yeah, like Christianity.
Christianity is no secret society. Their doctrines are open to the public.
Oh no,
Nothing
they aren't.
secret about it. How many presidents graduated from that the secret society? Was it 8?
Skull and Bones.
Yeah, Skull and Bones. Thank you, Lemon.
No
Was
problem.
it 8 presidents?
Who knows?
Out of how many?
Well, we've had 46. We're on 46 with Mr. Biden.
In America, but there's a lot of countries on the earth, so
yeah,
thousands of
There's
presidents.
more than one country. Ye gods.
There are other countries than the USA, you know.
I know,
but America is the home of the free, home of the brave. We still have some Christianity, even in our post-Christian state.
You're saying that everything is secret over there. You have Masons and astronauts being like signing contracts to not say anything about anything. I mean,
at the top, yeah.
Sound free.
You just put somebody at the top at the directorate level executive to control the rest of the sheep.
Yeah.
Who's the poorest person who's been in space?
The poorest?
Yeah. I mean, most of the astronauts are pretty poor. They're like 60,000 a year, 68,000 a year or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about like earning wise? Well, I thought you were talking about like bum on. I shouldn't say bum on the street. A poor person on the street or something like that.
After they get poorest person who's been in space. You're going to have to keep them lying for you, but they're still living pauper lives.
You just insert the right people at the right level to control the process.
No, they're sworn to secrecy. It's been verified.
Yeah. Verified by an unverified claim. Wonder how do people know that the cosmonauts signed some kind of treaties that they need to be hush-hush?
Masonry is a global brotherhood of secrecy.
No.
Sure. But all the flat earthers are in a secret society. It's called Chicken Fucker Society.
We have no secret doctrines. What you see is what you get.
I know. No, I know you have.
I find it fascinating how you guys believe everything you're told without question. And I find it fascinating how you don't believe it.
No, Essie.
Truly, I'm not making fun of you guys. I just because there's some of you that are very intelligent, you know.
We don't believe a word you say, Essie.
How can you do this? How can you have 2 thoughts in your brain simultaneously? It blows my mind.
We don't. What 2 thoughts do we have at the same time?
Well, open and closed, stationary and moving.
What do you mean by those?
Well, you think
said open, closed.
Yeah,
my door can be open. Then it's not closed.
You hold 2 opposing thoughts in your head.
Relative in context.
Sorry.
Relative.
Like for example, let me give you an example, Moleman. When I asked,
I just answered it.
What? When I
You
ask
didn't
Zanuck,
listen. You don't
if he
listen.
thinks, let me finish, man.
You're too busy talking to listen. I answered the question.
Okay, then. No need for me to speak.
Exactly.
That's what you were hoping, right? But I'm going to do it anyways, Curved. So,
I don't know
Woman,
about that. We'll see.
Example.
Time will tell. Let's see if
Example.
time is real.
Sure. Curve knows where I'm going and he's going to try to stop me on this. But I will tell you anyways, Woman. Opposing thoughts in your brain. For example, when I asked Zanuck about the Coriolis effect, he clearly stated to me that he believes that the ball is both traveling straight in one frame of reference and curving on the spinning frame of reference. And I made sure I asked him, are you sure, Zanuck, it's not apparent? He goes, no, it's actually curving. So that right there is an example of holding two opposing thoughts in your brain.
Where's the two opposing thoughts when it's
That
two
it's following a
different
straight
frame
path and a curved path at the same time.
Thank you.
No,
They
frame
absolutely do follow those two paths, because if you look at it from above and you track the position it takes over your merry-go-round, the ground position of it in reference to the merry-go-round changes. And if you look at it from a stationary object, referencing the whole Earth, it goes straight.
But it's a visual effect. Are you saying it's actually curving? Moyak?
Essie, can I ask you a question?
Shit.
Wait, right after we finish with Moyak.
We're saying the same shit over and over.
Is that what you're saying? Or was it Moyak or was it...
Yes, it was Moyak who said that if you're on a merry-go-round, you reference the merry-go-round, or if you reference Earth, the paths will be different.
So you're actually seeing a curve. It's actually curving on the rotating frame of reference. It's not a visual. It's actually curving.
The question is which reference point frame I'm looking at.
Right. I'm talking about the spinning reference frame.
I don't give a shit which one you're talking about. I'm talking about both reference frames. And when you look at both reference frames, it's doing both things.
You're not as dumb as Zanuck. Good show there, Moyak. I thought I'd make you say it too, but you're not as dumb as him.
See, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
If I'm in an airplane and I throw a ball back and forth with my friends, how fast is the ball going? If I throw it at, I don't know, let's say 5 meters per second.
It's going at that equivalent speed, and in the plane, covered by the skin of the plane. Yeah, I'll grant. Is that what you want to hear? I'll grant you that.
Okay, so the airplane isn't moving.
Well, if you want to think of it in those terms, yeah. But we know that the plane is moving.
There you go. Context.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but hold on. You think you made a point here?
So it's going
let's
say 500 miles an hour plus 5 miles or 10 miles an hour for the throw. So
that's not the issue.
510 miles per hour, or from the airplane reference, it's going 10 miles per hour.
Yeah, but we're not talking about an airplane. We're talking about the Coriolis effect, which
same thing applies.
No, it's not.
Same thing.
So what speed is that ball traveling? 5 miles an hour, or 10 miles an hour, or
airplane?
500
miles an hour. We're talking about the Coriolis effect, and we can show
this is for clarification.
Why do you want to go on a plane?
Well, because I'm trying to get clarification from you. Is that ball going both speeds or one speed?
On the plane?
Yes. When I toss it, it's going 10 miles an hour from me to person A to person B. How fast is that ball going?
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Relative to the person on the plane, it appears to be going one speed. And
no, it doesn't appear to be. It is going that speed between.
Yeah, and on a person outside of the plane, I get what you're saying. What does that?
So which speed is the ball going?
What does that have to do with the merry-go-round?
Is the ball going? Which speed is that ball going?
It's going the same exact speed in both reference frames, as viewed from. What does that have to do with anything what you just said?
So I threw that ball.
It isn't going the same speed.
Yes, it is. You threw that ball. Once that ball left your hand on the merry-go-round, it's traveling in a straight line and a constant speed. Maybe you can take away milliseconds of speed as it goes from one side to the other. But for this example, we can agree that it's traveling at a constant speed, right? From one side of the merry-go-round to the other?
That's what I'm referencing.
That's exactly what I'm referencing. So what's your point here? What are you're not making any sense?
It depends on what I'm referencing.
Yeah, you're making my point for me. The person on the spinning reference frame sees the ball deviating, sees the ball curving, but the person from the other reference frame sees the ball in a straight line. You're making my point for me.
That's exactly what Zanuck said.
No,
Not Zanuck,
I got I got him on tape, dude, because I know how you guys operate. That is not what he said. And you know who doubled down on it?
What did he say?
Georgie Boy.
What did he say then?
What did
he
he
said?
say?
Essentially, it's going both at some points. He said it's doing both of them.
Exactly. Thank you, Moyak.
Well, in the spinning merry-go-round, it looks curved because visually your eyes are getting closer and further from the object as it travels within the frame, but outside the frame it's a straight path. So shouldn't we just reference the most absolute reference frame, outside of the merry-go-round instead of the confusing one in the merry-go-round?
There is
no absolute.
Yeah, you're always gonna choose a place to look at it because if you chose to use that, then the most absolute would probably be the galactic expansion rate. So it's going 1,000,000 miles per hour, less or plus whatever my velocity from my hand was.
You don't understand what absolute reference frame means. That means the one that confirms my bias.
It's ether, and the Earth is situated on pillars, so the Earth-based reference frame with its ether would be...
Lemon. If the ether is the absolute reference frame, then while I'm sitting down, I'm moving. Because you're saying that there's an ether drift.
You're on a situated Earth on pillars that's not moving relative to the ether. The ether is moving over the Earth.
But you just said that the ether is the absolute reference frame. So I am moving.
Earth would be the reference frame since it's situated in at rest.
So
but we have a universal background that gives movement in any frame,
Wait.
also the ether.
So how did they measure drift in the ether, Lemon?
They got 5 to 8 kilometers in the Michael experiment.
It's at rest, you just said.
Obviously, because the ether is moving over the unmoving Earth.
Oh, so now it's moving and not moving?
So let's go with the universal background as opposed to this relativity nonsense on the stationary moving Earth.
Lemon, how do you know that the Earth isn't stationary and the ether moving, or that the ether is stationary, or whether it's the ether or the Earth moving? Which one is it?
Failure.
Huh?
Aries failure. They said if the Earth and the stars were moving, if I fill a telescope with water, I should have to tip it more to get the light to come in at the right angle. They didn't have to tip it anymore with the addition of the water, so the only thing that was moving was the stars over the unmoving Earth.
So why it's called the failure?
Because they failed to prove that the Earth was moving.
No, because they failed in what they said.
No, because they supposed that the Earth was...
No, because what they said was wrong, and it didn't work.
They say that it's because they failed to find the ether, but the ether framework that
explains
the parameter light fringes that look like the light going slower this way, faster this way, because of a substance-based
was a failure.
parameter. There's no other framework to explain what's going on.
Handle it, Lemon.
If you said something should happen, and it happened, it's not a failure. If it didn't happen, it's failure.
Well, ideally, they wanted 30 kilometers per second.
No!
Because they needed
didn't
that.
want no kilometers.
Around the sun. They were lucky if they got 5 to 8, and it would vary throughout the year, getting more, getting less. So these weren't quite the examples that they want, the corroboration that they wanted for heliocentrism, so they just abolished the ether.
Who are we talking about, Lemon?
Back in the Michelson-Morley days, they cobbled up.
I thought we were talking about Aries failure.
All these other excuses and stuff.
Lemonburn, you're way off. Michelson-Morley thought that the ether was stationary and the Earth was traveling through the ether. That is what they state in their journals.
So, did you know that they had a 5 to 8 kilometer per second ether drift and a positive ether drift that persisted throughout their experiments? Like there was some.
Yeah, when it moves through the ether, they say it would drift. Cause that drift, because kind of like car traveling through air causes wind, or a drift of wind.
So the options are either we are at rest and or space ether is at rest. We are at rest and space is moving. We are moving and space is moving. Those appear to be the options.
Yep, and we know that the Earth is at rest and the ether is at rest.
The ether is moving. It's more like a swirling fluid. The Earth is at rest while the ether moves. That appears to be the most consistent framework.
Makes sense. If the stars up above are moving, everything else should be moving. Why not?
You know this George Biddle Airy, the Aries, Aries failure?
Mm-hmm.
He's most noted for his achievements in his work on planetary orbits. He believed that planets were orbiting the sun.
Because he was a committed heliocentrist, but once you drop the heliocentric assumption that the Earth is a moving ball, things make sense a bit.
Can you give me any documented evidence that he drops that theory that the Earth is revolving around the sun? Because I don't think there is any.
Yeah, the Earth is motionless in that, right?
No. Give me evidence that Airy stopped believing that the Earth moved around the sun. I
didn't say that he did. He was a committed heliocentrist, so in the face of data that's going against that, he'll come up with a nice little excuse.
No. You specifically stated until he dropped that idea. I want evidence that he dropped that idea.
No, I never said that. I never said that. I said that they abolished the ether because it was inconvenient for Copernicanism. They came up with cheap replacements like space-time, quantum fluid, and other stuff, but space has some sort of substantial somethingness to it, like an ether.
How about they dropped it because they couldn't find it?
They still had 5 to 8 kilometers per second of ether drift in their framework for how they interpret the experiment and what's making the light slow down. There's no other framework that explains what's going on in the interferometers.
I love the way he pretends to be so bored with it.
Some sort of a flowing
It's just too full of shit.
Yeah. Even he's getting fed up with the shit he's spouting.
Just wait for your
He's so
scientists
bored.
and masters to pass down the pronouncement. Wait for them to give you permission to think. I'll put in the chat the video
Lemon.
over the plot to bury the ether.
How long have been people waiting? As long as waiting for Jesus' return? Just
Gish
keep waiting.
gallop over the obfuscation. State the truth politely. Move on.
Maybe he just woke up or something.
He does sound a little.
You sound bored.
That's one of his methods of doing things to give it credibility. I'm just going to say it like I've said it 100 times before. Oh God.
Told you this.
I'm Squidward. 5 years till Jesus comes back and saves me and takes me to my daddy in the sky.
Hello, I'm Squidward.
Maybe it's just some sort of performance art.
I don't know.
Oh dear.
How can someone be so bored about the truth?
Pooh Bear, where's the honey?
Life. Don't talk to me about life.
That one's easy. Flat earthers can be bored about the truth because they usually ignore it.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Reality? I have no truck with that. Ha ha. They're not even on vague waving. Hello, reality over here. No, oh, no, sorry.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
I
they
want
have
an
is-
X15. They're cool.
All they have is denial and an apparent horizon showing their geometric shape.
Yeah, I'd like an X15, but unfortunately you need a B52 to go. Which, many years ago, I think back in the early 90s, the British Army were flogging off lots of chieftain tanks, and you could pick one up for about £10,000. Unfortunately, to move it anywhere, you need a low. And they're more than £10,000. In fact, a chap up the road from me still has, I believe, a chieftain tank that will actually fire. It's not been decommissioned.
That'd be cool, like as a jungle gym in the backyard for kids to play on.
He's also got the tank that they used in Fast and Furious 6, was it? They use that for crushing cars.
Oh, we bought them.
I think airplanes go as fast as satellites.
I can move my finger faster than an X-15.
I can move my finger faster than a bullet.
Well, me too. Wonder why it doesn't break the sound barrier, but
I want to see one of you guys film a bullet.
I could do it. I don't think I really have the interest in doing so. It's been done.
No, Blue. We're not having trouble with Coriolis. We're having trouble with reality.
Hey, Blue is in the house.
And those guys who refuse to have anything to do with it.
never do an experiment that would wreck your worldview.
The fastest
Seems
bullets
to
in
be
the
the
world
case.
are videoed.
If you have a fast enough camera, you can just film.
In fact, they I don't. It's a little bit of a cheat, but they even filmed the speed. They filmed photons of light. It's a little bit of a misrepresentation of what they're doing, but.
Oh, must be a satellite crossover.
I wonder if the ISS ever goes over Finland. It might be way too north for them.
No, I don't think it gets that far.
Yeah.
Talking of which, where are we now? Let's have a look.
Well, it's been about an hour, so it should be about 17,000 miles further along.
Ah, there it is. I'd lost it for a minute. It is. Come on,
Island.
update. It's off the southeastern coast of New Zealand at the moment, heading out into the vast bleak expanse of the Pacific Ocean, and will next make landfall at Ecuador. Or it might just skirt the very coast of Peru.
What if it just turned left and went back to Ecuador with the previous
Sort of like
pass?
Did a handbrake turn?
Yeah, and then started going the same direction, just so somebody down in Ecuador could take a
And
video.
looking, and the bizarre thing is, looking at the live stream, they're sort of in darkness, but in a minute they're going to be in sunlight again.
They get the video back up on that?
Yes, yeah, it must have been a satellite changeover or something.
No, I mean, I thought that they decommissioned the high-res video experiment.
They're one of the things they're fitting today is a high-res camera, I believe.
Right, but I thought that we weren't getting live footage from the ISS any longer. I'm probably behind the times in my knowledge on that.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we're getting live feed from the astronauts' suit cameras.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's good.
Well, it makes my two screens look pathetic because I'm looking at it sort of mission control. Most of them have got at least 5. And she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because one at the end's double stacked as well. I mean, that's just showing off. Oh, that's not right. The desks look too tidy.
Man, when they get the space hotel up and operational, I like that artist rendition there. That'd be a great room to stand in.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
2021, guys. We're here. It should be up this year. I can't wait.
It's not going to be that artist rendition, I don't think, because looks like one of the inflatable sections they might be using.
No, that what you see there, the padded room one, that's a French artist designed that one, and that's the one apparently that's going to go up.
Right.
With the padded cells.
Is that going to have the cupola like that? That first off,
Yeah.
That doesn't look legit because it wouldn't be hardened against meteors, so it wouldn't have shields.
Well, maybe there's shields. They'll put shields on it or whatever. But
there's no claim that there's any kind of a shield yet.
Well, maybe you should go advise them. Maybe you should
use.
become an advisor and advise them. I'm sure anybody will do a better job than them.
Oh, look. Now the astronauts are in daylight again. Wow.
How'd that happen?
It's
Maybe the
almost
sun
as
came up?
if the website I'm watching it on is live tracking this thing. Wow. Right.
Yeah, but during the day, you can't be sure where it is. So it could have just, anytime it's in daylight, it could have moved around and gone somewhere else.
Yeah, could have stuck away somewhere.
You'll wait 96 minutes and pop in somewhere else and then go by at 17,000 miles an
Well,
hour.
look at that. The furthest north it's going to get. Oh wow! It's really not that far from me. It's going to skirt the outskirts of London. Its ground track is going to be, I don't know, 30, 40 miles away from me.
Oh shit! You should be able to see the turnaround then.
That's a cool cartoon. What are we looking at? Green squares?
What?
Do we need to go through shapes again? Those aren't squares.
Oh dear.
Oh, a long square?
You're talking about the 7 holes in the cupola?
Looks like a
Those
square
are
to
not
me.
squares.
D-Mark, do you know what a square is?
Yeah, it's your head.
He's a flat earther. He doesn't know what shape.
It's a six-sided head of yours, of your cubed head.
Ah, that was very good. Thanks a lot.
So you guys like the cupola meme?
Flat and level is.
Square doesn't have 6 sides though. That's a cube.
Cubes don't have 6 sides.
Those are like trapezoids.
What?
Cubes don't have 6 sides.
Well, how many sides do they have
more.
then? What?
How many do they have?
Cubes have more than 6 sides.
No, they have 12 sides.
Yes.
6
He's
Exactly.
playing the game. There's
He's
an
right.
inside and outside, a left
Inside
side
and
right
outside,
side.
you fuckers.
No, you have the faces, don't you? The sides of the.
Dear.
Hello?